Welcome to 5 Minute Friday, everybody, where we share our best tips and tricks to help you get just a little bit better. And this week we are talking face-melting computers. Eddie, we have a guest with us on this 5 Minute Friday. Do you know who? He's behind the curtain over here.
Introduce yourself there, Mr. Ken.
Hi, guys. Ken Flannigan, Dell Technologies, the Performance PC Group, proud supporter and follower of the Construction Brothers podcast for years now. So I'm amongst people that I've followed for a very long time. You're industry famous, guys. You really are.
Oh, God. No. Infamous. That's what it is, right? Infamous. Well, no, we're excited to have you on the show today because, I mean, like you said, Dell's partnering with the show now, which is a pretty cool thing. Like, we're super appreciative. But we wanted to have you on because, we talk about hardware.
Right.
We're talking about computer hardware. And this is something that is near and dear to Eddie and I, like, super near and dear because we spent time as BIM guys. Eddie's still in the BIM field. I was for a while. And I don't know, hardware gets pretty interesting. So what all's going on with hardware these days? And like, what can you tell us?
Yeah, I've been with Dell for about 16 months. And, before that, I was a BIM guy too, previous life BIM guy, and very software focused. Not really paying attention to the spec, right? It's kind of the machine you get is the machine that you get. I hope it lasts for 3 years. And, learning a little bit more about these kind of coded messages inside of these specs, there's a lot that matters. How old your CPU is. Are you running an Core i9 from Intel that's 5 years old versus a 13th gen Core processor that was just released? Your machine's going to act completely different. And, if you're a modeler, that really matters because they're all about clock speed. But if you're a reality capture tech, you may all be all about the cores. And so even though they have these kind of similar names, understanding more about the new products coming out, the new components coming out, and how that actually helps you across the board, it's crazy important. It's crazy important for BIM guys, reality capture guys, project engineers, collaborators, and really everybody across the board.
Yeah, I don't understand why we spend so much money getting all of these really cool softwares, and then we pair them up with something's going to run that software like a pig. That it just is. You're gonna. So true. It's death to run a software that isn't as snappy as it's supposed to be. I mean, it takes away from your productivity. It takes really away from the product that you're going to put out. It's amazing how putting a slow computer with somebody who's quick can just kind of completely dishearten them. So we've always tried to strive to really, spend a little bit on our hardware. Like, we believe in getting really good tools.
Well, that was Dad's motto. Like, Dad brainwashed us into that. No, he was like, get the best one, right?
That's right.
Get the one that's right for the job, and that's going to make sure, like, we want it out of the person's way.
Yeah.
So they can get their job done. And it feels like a lot of the hardware these days, at least for in the construction industry, hadn't been updated in a while. It's just getting in people's ways, right?
Yeah, the software spend per person is like at an all-time high. I mean, several $1,000s per year per user is a huge expense to not be supporting that with, powerful enough hardware, new enough hardware for all the things that you want to do like right now, and then all the things that you're going to want to do in the next few years. I kind of feel bad for, the IT directors out there, the guys that were put in charge of these types of purchase decisions, because the technology is changing fast. The expectation is rising. And you also have a pretty wide variety of user types. So how do you support all those? You got to have a configurable spec, and you really have to pay attention to not just these kind of large brand names. Like Dell Precision's a large brand name, but there's a lot of coded information that's going to make a big difference in those workflows. Newer GPUs, like there's amazing amounts of compute power that's increasing right now. And if you want to get, the most use out of that, if you want to use all the software tools that, you kind of aspire to, you got to have that foundational piece of hardware, that workstation. It is another tool in the toolbox, so absolutely.
Well, encouraging anybody out there that has made this their industry, go and learn a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like, learn about what you're using every day, like what's in the box. Learn what's in there, because it's a catalyst. Like, it's making you more productive, and you need to understand your tools.
understand your tools and understand like the software that you're using
Yep.
and what it requires of the tools,
Yep.
like the hardware that you're running. And so often they're just little nuancy things where it's like, this prefers a Xeon over an i9, like little stuff like that you just wouldn't be aware of. So dive into some of the details there and you're not going to regret it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. It used to be these, oh, you got to have clock speed. Oh, you got to have cores. You know, people use a lot of different tools. So really it's about having a combination of the right things on that machine that's ready for you when that project requirement comes. It really makes a difference in your business, and also makes a difference in how happy and non-frustrated your people are. It's respecting your software purchase and respecting your people.
Yeah, that is big.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, I remember running V-Ray and stuff for a while whenever we were just trying to do just simple model snapshots that we could use for LinkedIn. I mean, dude, it wasn't like any architectural stuff like you see, but it's amazing how quickly V-Ray would tax it, or Inkscape, or any of these other, Lumion was the other one that we used. And it's maddening. Like you would sit there for an hour waiting for it until we upgraded. And then we're like, oh, okay, yeah, that did the trick. And we were able to get a lot more done as a result of it.
Yep.
Yeah. Early on in my career, architectural technician doing BIM, rendering inside of Revit, which was the nightmare that I think a lot of us remember. And I used to tell my boss, well, if my computer's working, then I'm working, while I wait for it to churn through a still image rendering. He didn't like that. And I didn't like it either. But that was the state of the hardware at the time. And, since then, there's been this leapfrog of hardware and software and hardware and software. So it's just really important to understand your spec and understand the new innovations coming out from Intel and NVIDIA and Dell that impact you across the board.
Well, dude, thank you for coming and just dropping a little bit of knowledge on us. And this was a great little intro to our partnership as well. We appreciate you guys supporting the show. And hey, guys out there listening, thank you for supporting our partners, because that also supports us. So Ken, dude, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate being here.